Oh, no, I wasn't. Sorry. Yeah, I will.
Something to say.
Check, check. 1, 2, 3.
So, my friend Tom and I, we had bowcat, which were wooden swords. And we love to fight each other with these wooden swords. So people would always ask us what happened, well, how we got a black eye. And so we came up with this story where we'd come out of Cumberland Farms, which is a convenience store, and we saw a guy beating a puppy with a shovel.
Oh, man.
You can get closer.
Everybody knew we carried these boken everywhere, so we said we grabbed the boken and we went after the guy with the shovel who was beating the puppy, and whoever got the black eye was the person the guy hit first, and then whoever didn't have the black eye was the hero of the story, who beat the man with the puppy. She was all freaked out. Couldn't decide if she had to call the police, or was the guy okay? Was he still breathing? Did you call an ambulance? And all we could do was laugh, because nobody had ever believed us before.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Hello, hello,
Okay.
hello.
How high do you have to count?
Check.
It's been a long ride, but now I wanna.
It's been a long ass time, so let's hang out and go to a fucking bar.
We had a crazy day yesterday.
Yeah, what happened?
We went to the Bangor State Fair.
Oh, I didn't. That's awesome.
Yeah, because we don't really listen to like mainstream country,
Yeah.
but there's this one artist we're obsessed with called Jameson Rogers.
Okay.
And he has a song called Cold Beer Calling My Name.
Yeah.
And we love that song. And we were like,
Nice.
this dude's coming to Bangor, we have to go. So we went, and we're walking around. It's really boring, to be honest. And we're
The
like,
fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he had 2 openers. So we were
Yeah.
like, who is this guy?
So you had to get through like an hour to
Well,
before
we
you
were
saw
like,
him?
okay, let's just go back to the car. We
Yep.
go back to the car, and he's like, do you have my keys? And I'm like, no. And we lost the keys.
Lost the keys.
Oh no.
To
So
the car.
we were just walking around for like an hour or so, just looking for the keys.
Yeah,
Did you find him?
Eventually we did.
Eventually, after getting like everyone there involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just had fallen through a hole in my pocket.
Yeah.
It was like a classic case.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So
But we still saw the guy, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And also, we like took edibles. I took 10 milligrams. He took 5 milligrams. And so
right as
yes,
we lost the
yeah.
keys.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So we were like,
So
oh,
you had
man.
an hour
Yeah.
to find your keys before you were in trouble.
Yep.
Okay.
And we didn't. We ended up finding them after everything.
Yeah.
It was like after everything had closed down and all the cars had kind of.
And we
Did
still,
somebody
Yeah.
find them and bring them somewhere?
Nope.
No.
we
Where-
were just.
You just found them in the dirt?
Yeah, I was in the grass area
Really?
where all the cars park. Yeah,
So
it
you
was there.
so you must have like gotten out of the car and just taken a few steps and the
Yeah.
keys fell out?
Exactly.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And it was getting dark, so like we
It was
couldn't really
dark.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a cold beer calling my name.
Yeah.
God.
It
So
was so good.
so
It was
wait,
funny.
the concert was over.
Yeah.
You guys were super high on edibles
Yeah.
and you found the keys.
Yes.
That's amazing.
It was amazing. It was quite like, and we love this song. Like
Yeah.
we listen to the song all the time I was like freaking out. I was like, what's going to happen?
And I was so chill about it.
Yeah,
I was
Orono
like,
was chill.
what are we going to do? We're going to find it.
Yeah.
But let's just enjoy
Do you
this
have a
man.
second set somewhere? I was having a crummy day one day. I was going to. My grandfather was in hospice, which means he was dying, and so we were all spending time with him, so he could stay at home. And so I was supposed to go relieve my mother, and my dog ran away right as I was supposed to leave. So then I had to go chase the dog.
Wow.
I got the dog. Now I'm late, and I can't find my keys, and I've locked them in the car. And so at the time, my younger brother, if you asked him any question, he would say, "Have you Googled it yet?" I'll Google it and let me know. And so
Do your homework first.
He wouldn't answer any questions. So I'm like, what do I do now? So I Googled it. I think it was, I Googled, how do I break in to a 2001 Ford Focus? And it gave me an answer. And
Wow.
5 minutes later, I was in my car driving away.
So you broke into
You broke
it. How
into your
did
own
you?
car?
Yeah.
Did you break the glass?
No.
Okay.
If I remember correctly,
Oh, let's get into it. This is the tutorial.
you could, I think I just pried back the top of the door,
Okay.
and it gave me just an inch or so opening, and then I could slide a wire through and grab the door handle and unlock it.
Wow.
Like a coat hanger or something.
And as long as you didn't push too hard, you didn't really bend the door permanently. So
Wow.
it worked out that time. I don't know if it worked it twice, but
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish we did that.
my favorite key finding story was my father brought the boat to camp. And when we were all excited because we got to go out on the boat, and there were no keys in the boat, and they had flown out from as it was going down the highway. And so my dad said, well, I'll go look for him. And so he just drove along the road, and there's my keys, and pulled over and picked them up out of the dirt.
Wow.
The man had eyes like nobody I've ever known.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I kind of did something like that. Last night felt pretty like cyclical
Yeah.
because like 4 years ago he visited me in London and we were hanging out at the park. Like we had a picnic with all our friends and then we walk home. It's like a 30-minute walk. And then we get there. He's like, I don't have the keys. Yeah. So, and it's like 1 a.m. at this point.
Yeah.
And so we walk back to the park, and we're both very stressed out. And I find the keys like immediately, like right in the spot. And I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
But that didn't happen last night. I was hoping that would happen, but it didn't. But we found it.
It was hours and hours of us not knowing what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I think of those boat keys all the time whenever I drop something and can't find it. I've dropped a screw, and I'm like, oh, it must have gone right down there. And then I spend the next 6 hours on my hands and knees and never find it again.
Yeah. But I'm glad we found it.
Well, I remember that particular instance, I was like first learning like how we communicate when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And the answer was that we don't really communicate.
No?
she was like very, very
But that's the
silent.
thing though, like
That's one of the first
last night
times.
I was so chill about it.
So much has changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, last night we communicated a bunch.
No, because
so.
you were like freaking out way more than me.
That's
and I was
true.
like, dude, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think that it kind of just comes with experience. The more stuff that happens to you, the more it doesn't bother you, I guess.
What bothers you these days?
Well, a lot of times when I get excited about something, I realize I have all the tools necessary to handle whatever the problem is. Like it's
Wait, so you get excited about problems?
well, when excited meaning like, you know, you say a bunch of swear words and you're mad at the world that
Right.
you're now in this situation and
Agitated.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
agitated and but then once you calm down, you just realize like I can handle this. This is so much smaller than the big problems that have happened in my life. So it's with my kids moving out, you know, it's easy to just worry about them, and then oh yeah, I know this guy. He's got all the skills he needs to handle whatever is going to come his way.
That's cool.
So,
How was there a period where you were worried about?
personally, myself, my kids.
Yeah, like, were you worried about your kids? Like, how long was that?
Mackenzie started riding his bicycle, and Mackenzie does everything as big as possible. So he rode his bicycle, and then he said, "Can I ride to camp?" And I said, "Sure." So then he rode 40 miles, and then he started just doing these. He'd say, "Okay, I'm going for a bike ride," and we'd say, "Fine, have fun." And then one day I was at dinner. I was like, "So how was your ride?" He goes, "Good." "Where'd you go?" "Ellsworth." Hold on a second. It's like 30 miles on a road I don't even like to drive on because the traffic's so bad. You were riding your bike there? Yeah. Like, okay, I guess I got to ask more questions. So just stuff like that, you know, and it's
How
hard.
old was he when he did that?
15 maybe?
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
How did he get into bikes? Were you into it?
Yeah, I mean, we rode bikes from, I don't know, he was probably 6 when he was on 2 wheels.
Okay.
The first time we went, Roland and I were just talking about this. The first time I took the kids on the road, I think we did 7 miles.
Okay.
And Roland was maybe 4 or 5.
Okay.
I think he had just gotten off training wheels, and I kept stopping and saying, everybody doing okay? Yeah, let's keep going.
Wow.
So they
Wait,
just
so you
kept
had
going.
both of them on the bike?
3 bikes.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a bike. They had a bike. Each
Okay.
of them had a bike.
Okay.
So
they were both on training wheels at the time.
no, I think Roland had just gotten off training wheels.
Oh, I see.
So Mackenzie had been on 2 wheels for a while, and Roland just got off.
When did you start riding bikes?
I don't remember. A long time ago.
Okay.
Who taught you? Do you remember that?
Not really. I mean, it was my dad and my mom. They taught me everything pretty much. But I do remember I had an orange bike.
What kind of orange? What shade of orange are we talking?
Ugly 70s orange, like
70s orange.
way too bright.
Okay. Well, that's
Way
cool.
too bright.
That sounds great. That sounds cool.
And as I got big for this bike, somehow the bike ended up at camp, and it was too little for anybody to really ride around. So we would just ride it off the dock. Right, go as fast as you can and try to jump off into the water.
Whoa.
Wow, that's cool.
With the bike?
With the bike, yeah.
Wow.
Did it rust over time?
Or
do you just like wipe it off or something? I guess you can.
So at one point, the bike ended up bending. It was, I think it was like a girl's style bike, so it didn't have the center bar.
Oh, okay.
And so over many, many jumps, it ended up bending and was unusable. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
I mean, we didn't have, you had cartoons on Saturday and 3 channels of golf to watch and no internet. So we were always, building something or riding something. We always were making ramps and jumping bikes over them. When that got boring, you'd lay one of your brothers under the ramp and jump your brother like Evel Knievel. Then you get 2 brothers. Then we set the ramps on fire, so we had jumping flaming ramps. It was good times.
Did you ever break a bone or anything like that?
Nothing beyond stitches. We got hurt a lot, but nothing you couldn't shake off.
Yeah. I've never broken a bone either. Not yet.
I've broken some ribs.
Whoa.
But that's about it.
How'd you do that?
I didn't tell you the story about dog scootering.
Maybe you did.
Dog scootering?
Dog scootering. I had a German Shepherd at the time with way too much energy. And so we had just finished dinner, and I had probably had a couple of beers. And so I was going to take the dog for a walk to try to burn off some energy after dinner so it wouldn't annoy everybody. And I went outside, and there was a scooter there that the kids had left, and I thought, I bet this dog will pull me on the scooter. And so
Wow.
I put it together, and the dog ran down the road, and I rode behind it on the scooter, and the dog thought it was the best thing ever. And I'm like, this is awesome. This is going to be a new sport. It's going to be dog scootering, and there's going to be
Dog
divisions.
scootering.
It's going to be a whole thing. And Roland had come out by this time, and he met us halfway up the road. And Roland is a sprinter.
Yeah.
And so he thought it looked like fun. And so he, instead of running to us when we were coming towards him, he turned around and ran away from us. So that kicked the dog's prey instinct into. So it started to chase Roland, and so it was going really fast.
Whoa.
Oh man.
And I was standing on the brake, and I wasn't slowing down.
Oh no.
And it was too fast to jump off.
That's scary.
As we got close to the main road, Roland just turns 90 degrees left and runs onto the lawn. And the dog turns 90 degrees left and onto the lawn. And the scooter gets pulled out from under me by the dog, and I'm still going straight. So I ended up cartwheeling down the road as fast as a German Shepherd runs.
Wow.
And it was funny because I remember I hit my head as I went on one of the somersaults. I hit my head, and time had slowed way, way down. And so I remember when I hit my head, I thought, oh, that's not even going to be a bruise. That's not a problem at all. And then the rest of me hit the pavement, and it was then it was like, oh, this is going to be a problem though.
Whoa.
And
How bad did it hurt?
It hurt really bad. I was wearing sandals like this, so it shredded two of my toes.
Oof.
God.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know how bad I was hurt, but I got scared because my wife ran right over to me, and she's seen me do all kinds of dumb stuff and get hurt. And so she just ignores me because she knows I'm going to be mad for a second, and then I'll get over it. But she ran right over and was like trying to figure out if I was dead or not. And so that scared me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really breathe very well.
Yeah.
I mean, I could breathe. It just hurt really bad.
Whoa.
Everything hurt.
Yeah.
And then, so I went inside and just basically sat on the couch for the rest of the night. And then the next day I went to work, and it was...
You didn't go straight to the ER?
Oh, God, I don't go to the ER. You know how expensive that is?
Yeah. It is expensive.
And also, I kind of figured it was broken ribs. And there's nothing they can really do for broken ribs.
Yeah.
So
you
you'd go and get some imaging, and they'd say they're broken.
Yeah.
And then come back in 6 or 8 weeks. And that's probably not even true. That's probably just what I told myself. But so I went to work the next day and actually had my colleague scan me in the MRI machine.
Oh.
And they can talk to you through headphones. And so we discussed what pictures we thought would be best. And so she took the first set of pictures, which was maybe 3 minutes. And she just came across the intercom and said, "Oh my God, what the fuck did you do?"
Wow.
But yeah, that night when I laid in bed, so you have the sternum, and then there's a cartilage connection to all the ribs. And as I laid in bed, I could feel the cartilage in the ribs like doing this.
Yeah, kind of.
Like the ribs had pulled out of the cartilage.
Yep.
That sucks.
And so it was just moving. But yeah, I couldn't even get in and out of bed without excruciating pain for at least 4 months.
4 months?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It went on so long that it was actually, one day I got out of bed and I was surprised. It's like, what's different? Like, oh, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt getting out of bed.
Wow.
Rejoice.
So it was nice.
Yeah.
So.
That's scary.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Don't drink and dog scooter.
Don't drink
I
and
won't.
dog
It's bad.
scooter. Yeah. You know, Buster Keaton, do you know him?
I do.
I guess one of his stunts, he broke his neck, but he didn't realize.
Yeah.
So he just was walking. He just went about for a couple of years, and then I guess it hurt really bad one day, and found out he broke his neck.
I wonder if I broke my spine between my shoulder blades. That's usually where it breaks, and it's called a compression fracture.
Okay.
It's not the kind of break that paralyzes you,
Yeah.
but it's the kind of break that causes lifelong pain. But I've been too chicken to look.
See if it's actually broken.
Like, it doesn't change anything. But
Right. Jeez. Yeah. How do you do that?
that would have been the same event.
Oh, same.
So-
Oh, right. Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, there you can break your spine in lots of ways. It's not like the movies where somebody turns your neck too forcefully and you just get paralyzed and die. But
Yeah, my brother broke his arm doing a push-up.
he needs a better story. That's what I really did, but I made up the whole dog scootering, so
Made that all
so I
up.
wouldn't have to say that.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It's 100% true, and I remember hearing the screams and looking over, and he was like
Which
push-up position. It was just like right here.
Yeah.
But it's kind of that's the story I like to tell. But the thing is, he had broken his arm the same place like a year before.
Oh, okay.
So he ruined one summer by breaking his arm down a slip and slide, and then he ruined the next summer by doing a push-up, by trying to have some physical exercise.
My younger son Roland did that.
Really?
Yeah, he broke his arm the last day of school, and it's what they call a green stick fracture.
Okay.
So that's the kind where you just put a cast on and it heals. So if you think of bending a green stick, it starts to break at the point where it's bending, but not all the way through. So it's like that.
Okay.
So then he went to a new school after being in this cast all summer and getting a clean bill of health, and he can do whatever he wants. And he was walking on a balance beam. I think it was like 4 inches off the ground. And he fell and tried to catch himself. And the first time he broke his arm, like, it took us half a day to figure out how bad it was before we went to the emergency room, because he was just kind of whining. But when I went to pick him up, he had an ice pack on his arm, and I said, "Let me take a look at it, buddy." And he takes the ice pack away, and his arm goes.
Whoa.
Oh.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And we had just moved to Bangor, and I'm like, okay, where's the hospital? And the lady's like, "Sir, I can't tell you which hospital to go to." I'm like,
why?
No, you don't understand. I'm not asking for your opinion of which hospital's better. I'm asking you, where's the hospital?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was a heck of a day. But that ended up being, I think, 2 surgeries to get it
Whoa.
straightened
Surgery,
out.
too.
3.
Whoa.
Because
3.
they tried to put it back together and cast it. And that was one surgery. And because they had to manipulate it, they wanted him unconscious. And then, like a week later, they x-rayed it, and it was still completely broken and not in line anymore. So then he had a surgery to put wires in his bones to hold it together, and then he had another surgery to take them out.
Right.
So,
Wow. That is harrowing.
yeah. He did a good job with it.
Oh, nice.
I hate surgery.
Yeah.
That's so scary.
It's fun to be in the process if you're not the patient.
So how do you mean? Have you been in the process very much?
When I went to x-ray school as a student, I would do rotations through the operating room. Because in Roland's case, I think that camera just closed, if you care.
Yeah, no, I was about to go check on that.
Okay.
Actually. Might be a situation where I'll grab another camera.
Yeah, it's fine.
So you get to run this cool device called a C-arm.
Okay.
So it looks like a great big C, and there's an emitter on one end and a receiver on the other. And so you just stand in a quiet corner of the operating room trying to be as small as possible. And the doctor will ask for a picture, and you've got to roll in and not touch anything, and then get the picture the doctor asked for, and then roll away. And everybody is wearing lead aprons under their all their gowns and stuff. So everybody's got like 30 pounds of of lead on them. So it was just interesting because you get to watch and then you kind of have to have a little bit of skill and knowledge of what you're doing because you can't annoy the doctor while he's cutting people open because they get mad about that.
So that's X-ray, right?
Yeah, that was X-ray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. What made you decide to go into that field?
I wanted to find a new career. I knew I didn't have a lot of time because I was in my 30s, like years of study. And I wanted a job I could do when I got older. My father had a difficulty because he had a very physical job, and when it was too much for him when he's in his 60s, he couldn't find another job. Nobody would hire him at that point. He wasn't 60; he was 59. But so I wanted a job I could do when I was old. I wanted a job that would be warm in the winter and cool in the summer. And I wanted it to be recession-proof. So when the economy was bad, I'd still have a job. And so it seemed like medicine would be a good way. And then I looked into what kind of degrees you could get to get into medicine with like a 2-year degree. And there's not a lot. So it pretty much was in medical imaging. And,
Right.
and it was just a perfect fit. I really like it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Were you interested in medicine before, or was it like totally new?
I had taken a paramedic class when I was in college in my 20s.
Okay.
And I liked that a lot. But it wasn't, I never thought of myself as a medical person. And then, you have the skills you learn when you're poor. So, the emergency room is a great way to ruin your life when you're really poor. So there was times when, I had to super glue things shut that needed stitches and things like that. So,
Whoa.
Ouch.
yeah. Yeah, it's...
What happens to that?
if you do it right, it heals.
It works?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
Well, it's
Mackenzie's got a little
it's a
scar
hack
on his
for
head
ya.
from that. So
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
that was not a proud
Make-
moment as a father when you don't have enough money to take your kid to the hospital. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
But
stressful.
if you are poor, then you can super glue.
that's.
That would, you should,
I'm sure if you're poor enough that you can't take your kid to the hospital, you already know how to use super glue.
Yeah. Fixes everything.
wonder if there's like a YouTube channel that has stuff like that.
Oh God, probably.
There's definitely a need. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yep.
You need to go to counting school.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Counting school?
Yeah.
I forgot how to count.
One clap.
Well, I always say I'm going to do one, but then I'm like, I'll just do a couple more to
Well,
be
you know,
safe.
if one's good,
Always.
three's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter too much in the editing room.
Yeah.
But
Exciting.
just as long as there's one.
So, did you tell Orono? No, you're Orono. Did you tell Elliott about the Orono sign and how you got it?
Wait, what do you mean? How I got the name?
No, the sign.
The sign?
Oh, the
Oh.
road sign. I
Yeah.
do remember this.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Well, because my dad stole it from me,
Yeah.
pretty much. So now it lives in his room. And we did a tour of my dad's room / office, and
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah. Your dad stole it from you? He just has it.
it's his now, pretty
He
much.
wanted it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I wanted it back, he'd probably give it back to me, but
Yeah.
I don't really have a good spot for it. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I guess what is the story? Because it's been a while. How did it come down?
Do you want to talk about this?
I don't know. Do you?
I mean, we can edit
I
it
thought
out.
it'd be
so,
funny.
Anything
Yeah,
can be edited out.
it is a good story.
Oh, it just.
I mean, it's just cool.
It was years ago, right? It's a
It
long
was
time
years ago. It's beyond the statute of limitations, I believe. So again, growing up in rural Maine, there wasn't a lot to do. And so once you get a driver's license, then you can go places, and you quickly realize there's nowhere to go. So you end up with a bunch of teenage boys in a car driving around with nowhere to go. And so eventually somebody steals a road cone, and then it just escalates until you're stealing stop signs or what have you. So it was just that,
Yep.
I had that in my history, and
The experience.
decided,
Experience.
it's so hard to find like Spencer Street, but living in Bangor, right next to Orono, there's Orono everywhere.
Yep.
So I knew we had to get you a sign.
Yep.
We just went to the Welcome to Orono sign.
Yeah.
Got a
was-
photo. They changed it.
They changed the
It's
sign.
not the Native American.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I was driving through Orono. I said, they have a new sign. I wonder if Orono's going to take a picture of it.
I was
We
kind
sure
of
did.
sad, but it's
pretty cool.
Dawn of a new era.
Yeah, it's a cool sign. Just as
Yeah.
long as they keep the name.
Yeah.
Oh, that's never going to change.
Okay, well that's good to hear.
That was the cool part for me was I didn't want to tell you that we were going to go steal a sign. And so I think I just said, like, we're going out late at night and wear dark clothes.
Yeah, it was kind of scary for me.
Was
Were
it?
you there?
I mean, I wasn't scared that something bad was gonna happen to
Yeah.
me, but I was like, we're committing a crime, and I'm like an immigrant kind of, so I was like, am I gonna get deported? There's always that fear. I still have it that I'm gonna get deported.
It's a reasonable fear.
Yeah.
I when I was living in China, that was always in the back of my head.
Right.
Like,
Really?
I can't be the guy who's here when this goes down because
Yeah.
who knows what happens to me.
And it kind of is. It sucks because it's like everyone breaks the law all the time, I
Yeah.
guess. But it's like, it's hard when you're an immigrant.
Oh, absolutely.
You gotta be on your best behavior, I
I,
guess.
I don't really like following rules, but I do. I hate breaking rules,
Yeah.
Yeah. The shame.
but
of
I
breaking
hate
a rule.
following rules too.
Well, and I think we have just too many rules.
Yeah, we do.
And
yeah.
the other problem with being an immigrant is you don't know what rules you're allowed to break.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody who lives in that area, they know, oh, that rule's never enforced. I can get away with that.
Did I tell you I almost got deported?
No.
Actually, maybe twice now at this point.
Twice? 2
Yeah.
times?
Because one time we were in California
Yeah.
near the U.S.-Mexico border,
Okay.
and it was a federal checkpoint.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
we had like some weed on us, and because it was a federal checkpoint, it's
Yeah.
still very
Weird.
illegal.
Yeah.
And they had dogs and everything, so they were like looking at it, and they told us like, we could deport you, we could take your car, we could do all this stuff, but we're not going to. They didn't even take the weed.
They left the weed. They
Yeah.
pulled it out. They kind of sniffed it and
smelled
they
it and they
laughed. They were laughing.
And put it back.
Then they put it back.
There's a word for what they wanted to do but didn't. I'm under
curious.
pressure. So, I don't know if it was a federal, I think it's actually local police departments do it. So if they even assume that you have money, like let's say you're driving. There was a story about a guy driving to buy a classic car, and so nobody's going to take a check for $25,000. So he had $25,000 cash. He gets pulled over. The cop asks him a bunch of questions. Civilian asset forfeiture is what it's called. So the cop asks him a bunch of questions. The cop confiscates the money, saying that he believes that the money was the result of drug sales.
Oh, okay.
So the federal government, then there's this federal law that allows this civil asset forfeiture. They took the man's $25,000 for the car he was going to buy because they said they had a belief that it was for drugs.
Right.
The federal government gets like 10%, so $2,500. But then the local police department gets to keep
Whoa.
the rest of the money.
That's crazy.
And
Whoa.
then all you ever get is a receipt. They might not even bring you up on charges. You might never go to court. You just don't get your money back.
That's
so
crazy.
it's like right out of Robin Hood.
Yeah.
We're just gonna take your stuff.
Yeah.
And
Cops.
it's gotten so bad that there recently was the cops will in another state, there's a lawyer that follows it. They were following armored cars, or not armored cars, but couriers that were picking up money from marijuana dispensaries and then bringing it to the bank. So on the way to dropping off the money at the end of the night from the bank, the cops stop you and take all your money. And there's nothing you can do about it because it's from drug sales and it's federally illegal.
Wow.
So it's just robbing people. So I
crazy.
think if you had like a bunch of money with you, it could have ended differently. But when you're homeless living in your car,
Well, this was
they got
like,
nothing to
when
take.
was this? This was 2019?
This was 2019. Yeah, we were just some kids.
Yeah.
You know.
It would have been too annoying.
and
for me.
hopefully they just
That wasn't the situation. Yeah,
right.
the
Hopefully they
deal.
were just saying, look, kids, you don't
Yeah.
want to be close to the border with these drugs. You're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make smarter decisions.
They were asking us if we were going to the One Direction reunion concert.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff
You
like
guys
that.
love One Direction, don't you?
I never.
Yeah, he was like making small talk.
Yeah.
It's like,
But the other time, what was that other time that you almost got
I was
deported?
just coming into the country, and they were saying, because I was on an ESTA at the time.
A what?
An ESTA, like a visa waiver thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So, but they were like, you're coming in here too much, basically. And they kind of assumed that I was working, even though I was just here to like see him.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
It was like
yeah, they like put me in like the room with all the people about to get kicked out for like
Fellow
hours and
deportees.
hours, and
Wow.
they didn't tell me anything. So I was like, this is crazy. And they don't let you use your phones and stuff. So I was just like sitting there.
I feel like that would be a good room for like. I mean, it'd be stressful, but it'd be a good room for people watching.
Oh, it was amazing. I heard so many stories of like, there's like a woman, like just telling her life story for like hours and hours,
Yeah.
and I was listening to
Wow.
that. There's another girl that was like from the Philippines, but is now working as a hostess in Japan, and she has a new boyfriend in America. And
So this was in America that you were put in the room. Was it at an airport?
yep,
Okay.
at LAX, yeah.
How do you feel about airports?
I used to fly a lot when I was going back and forth to China, and quite enjoyed it. And it wasn't even after 9/11, because everything changed airport-wise after 9/11. It wasn't bad. The last time I flew was in 2018, and I remember thinking like, maybe I'm just driving places now.
What made
just-
you think that?
I just have no patience for it.
Oh,
It just the
this
it's just all dumb. I don't care. I don't want to go through security
the
screenings
procedures
anymore.
and-
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not going to go through the scanner. I know too much about how it works and doesn't work. So I make them pat me down every time, and that pisses them off. And so they, like
Wait,
the
what
last,
don't you like about the scanner?
I feel like it's security theater. It's
Okay.
like why we take our shoes off. It's so that you as a traveler look at everything that's happening and say, oh, this is totally safe because they're doing all these
Yeah.
steps.
I mean, that's all of
But-
TSA, right?
But
They've
the
not-
reality
yeah.
is all of these steps are only implemented after something happens. They're not catching anything before it happens.
Yeah.
They're just making you feel safe about what you're about to do. So that's some of it. I don't think there's a need for them, but they make them so convenient that everybody goes through it anyways. And they said they tell everybody that they don't see you. They just see a blue outline of you. Well, I have to get credits every 2 years to keep my license current. And so the first time I did that, one of the options was I read a whole book about those scanners, and they say that, oh yeah, we don't see you naked. There's no database of it, or nobody there can see it. The reality is they can see the sweat on your back, and yes, nobody at the airport can see it because all of those pictures they can actually see you like that are viewed at a separate location.
Oh.
So
Okay.
so they absolutely get naked pictures of you.
Okay.
Wow. Good
And
to know.
again, and just knowing that that's there, and anyways,
Yeah.
that's one of my things. And just
Yep.
everybody's so upset. Nobody's happy that they're going anywhere. Everybody's pissed off.
But
The
isn't that
stewardesses
kind
are
of
pissed off. The
interesting?
travelers are pissed off. I mean, it used to be like, oh, I'm going somewhere. This is awesome. And people would be like, I'm going
Yeah.
somewhere too. It's awesome. And let's talk about how awesome what we're about to do is. And now it's just like everybody's mad that you exist.
But I kind of love that.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, also because like I have like airline status because
Yeah.
I fly so often,
Okay.
so I get to like skip a lot of the lines.
Okay.
I get to go into a lounge where there's free food and drinks.
Nice.
The lounge changes everything.
So when I'm at
So
the
you're not a
airport,
peon like me.
No, I'm not. I'm
Nice.
like, wow. I would hate all of this if I had to be in your position, but
Yeah.
I simply am not. So I'm just gonna people watch and enjoy and.
If I was still flying as much as I used to, I would so find a way
Yeah.
into those lounges.
Oh yeah.
I would
You
be
would, yeah.
stealing croissants
Oh,
yeah.
it's
every
great.
time.
Yeah, I
Yep.
always get him like a cookie and like
The
a
food's
bunch
the
of
best
stuff.
part.
If he's with you, can he go in the lounge
Oh,
too?
yeah.
It's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
If
so
we're
they
flying
don't
on the
make
same
you
thing.
like sit out on the curb like a dog.
No.
I mean, there's been one time where they didn't let me.
Come
but,
When was it?
Oh, I have no idea.
Well, it's
Yeah.
we
I
gotta
blocked
be
it out.
on the same flight.
Yeah.
And we probably
Yeah,
weren't on
yeah.
the same flight.
But I mean, the food's the best part. But I do kind of like being where everyone is.
Sure.
That's where all the action's happening.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Otherwise, it's just a
But
lot
you
of
get to see all
businessy people.
because in the lounge it's another set of people. It's like the elites, and you
Yeah.
get to watch them. Do you know Jack
True.
White
Jack
Jack
White.
White, no.
from the White Stripes?
Oh, I know the White Stripes.
He's the elite.
He was at the lounge.
Yeah.
And he was like on his laptop doing emails.
I was just thinking, is this why you never see famous people on the airplane? Because they're in the lounge until
Yeah, oh,
everybody
yeah.
boards and then they get on.
Yeah.
And then they get off before everybody.
After like music festivals and stuff, there's
Yeah.
so many of them at the lounge.
So I went to a trade show in Vegas once, twice. But, and I mean, it's got to be 50,000 people go to Vegas for this trade show. And everybody leaves on like the same day. So the airport is just swamped with all the people that were at the trade show. And everybody's tired and hungover. And everybody's trying to upgrade
Yep.
with their points
Yep,
to
yep,
first
yep.
class. And everybody's mad that they can't because
Because
everybody's done it. And it was just funny to sit, you know, knowing I'm a peon and I'm going to be in coach right by the bathroom and that's fine. And watching all these people like trying to, you know who I am? Because they've just been wined and dined at
Yeah.
the trade show. People are like,
Oh,
yeah, we
yeah.
want your business. We'll take you out to dinner. We'll show you a good time. And, you know, so they're coming off this and like
Yeah.
now they're at the airline and they're nobody.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's also kind of good. Like, I used to know this person. He was like very posh British man.
yeah.
And whenever he was traveling in the States, he would like kind of play up his posh British accent
Yeah.
and talk
Oh,
to
yeah.
the Asians at the front desk, or not front desk, but and they would he would try and get an upgrade for them.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
Did
He's
it
British.
work?
He must be famous.
yeah, exactly.
That's
You must
funny.
be like, you have an accent. You must be important and
Yeah.
rich.
Fancy
And he kind of
accent.
was, but
Small town
Anyway.
America. That's enough to get you
yeah,
places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
What is this liquid here?
oh,
Yeah, I was wondering that.
that's just some sort of like electrolyte,
Oh, okay.
Crystal Light,
Yeah.
low carb drink.
I've just
been
always curious.
working outside and sweating, so
Nice.
I try to drink some electrolytes.
Yeah. Electrolytes are.
I'm
they're
glad
good.
you answered, because there's one friend of ours that we interviewed, and he had this very strange-looking, cloudy, yellowish drink.
Yeah.
It looked like piss, but like cloudy piss.
Yeah.
And the plastic bottle, the wrapper thing was off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had no idea what it was, and we asked him, and he wouldn't tell us.
Yep.
There was a news story years ago about a guy who was selling homemade energy drinks at a yard sale. So like literally just set up a table on his lawn for energy drinks, and they were like all emptied out soda bottles with like this green milky liquid in it. And looking at the guy and reading the story, it all made perfect sense. But the secret ingredient in the energy drink was methamphetamine.
Oh.
So
Really?
he had cooked crystal meth and put it in his
Wow.
energy drink.
Oh man.
And that was his scam was
Where
he was
was
gonna
this?
Oh, I don't know. Somewhere out Midwest, and
Okay.
it was
Not Maine.
No.
Wow,
no.
I would
It was
hate
like
that.
Breaking Bad, you watch it, you're like, "Oh, these people are cool, doing
Yeah.
cool things."
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy was not cool. He was like 70, no teeth, looked like he had just
Whoa.
been in a fight.
Were people
Yeah.
buying it?
I have no idea.
Wow.
I honestly, I saw the story and I used to show people just because the drinks were so gross and dirty looking, and literally like was written on it with magic marker on the side, energy drink.
That's terrible.
And like, who was gonna buy this? Who would buy a
Yeah.
random filled up bottle from
Yeah.
the side of the road
Wow.
from this such a sketchy guy?
Yeah.
I think I
Gross.
might. Maybe I would.
Some
If
hipster.
someone dared me, I probably would.
Just don't drink it. You can buy it. Please don't drink it.
Um,
There's too many crazy people out in
Yeah,
the
I
world.
would hate to get an energy drink just for there to be meth in there.
Right.
It'd suck.
I wonder if I've accidentally taken meth before. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I wonder how many people have accidentally taken meth.
Accidentally ingested
Probably lots of
meth.
people.
The stories I've heard, because I watch a lot of like, or listen to a lot of comedy stories and podcasts, and I have heard stories where people thought they were snorting cocaine
Yeah.
and getting methamphetamine.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Through some other drug use.
you're already in to a certain level
Yeah.
before you realize you've
Totally.
accidentally gone to another level.
Yep.
So I don't think it's like people eat a cookie and get a meth cookie, but
Meth cookie.
meth
I don't know.
cookie.
Somebody's probably tried it.
Yeah, definitely.
I wanted to ask how, like, is there a reason why you decided to stay in Maine?
We're at the reason I stay in Maine. So the original plan was that I was going to go to X-ray school, and that was one of the other things I was looking for. It was in the new degree was something that was transferable to any state, and so the X-ray degree is good in every state but California and Hawaii, and you have to take another test to work in those states. So it wouldn't,
Yeah.
2 weeks with a book and I'd be able to pass that test. So the idea was we were actually I was going to get the degree and then we were going to move.
Where?
Well, we had a hard time finding a place. It was,
Right.
I think we settled on Hawaii. At the time,
Wow.
my
Whoa.
younger brother lived in Hawaii. And we don't have any winter hobbies. We like gardening, and so we wanted to find somewhere where we could garden all year long. And then I had family there, so it seemed easy. It was an interesting exercise because you don't think of a place the same way until you think of living there. So we'd look at one place and it's like, oh, they have tornadoes. Do you know what to do in a tornado? No, me either. I'm like, okay, now they're out. Well, what about this place? Oh, it's got poisonous snakes. Like, do you know what to do about poisonous snakes? Oh, me either. And so you just start like, oh, this place has earthquakes, or this place has Arizona, has, burning heat.
Yeah.
And you realize, like, I don't know how to deal with any of these things. Maine, it's like you might get a lot of snow someday, and I know what to do with a lot of snow. But then, while I was still in X-ray school, we bought this property, and so that's kind of been an anchor to the state. And I don't know, with the kids moving away, Mackenzie's in Michigan now. I don't know where Roland's going to go, but I'm sure he's going to leave Maine once he graduates. We might go follow them or do something else.
Okay.
So maybe just come back here for the summer. I don't
That's
know.
cool. Wow.
Yeah. That'd
Yeah.
be
Did
great.
you, when you were growing up, did you feel like, I really want to get out of here? Or not so much?
I must have. That seems like a very teenagery thing to feel. I really enjoyed the life I had here. There was, for all of the lack of things to do, there was a ton of freedom. It wasn't a bad place to be a teenager. you know, I did want to see the world, and I made a plan to do that and did it. And I was happy living in China when I was there. I came back to raise my kids because I didn't know how, growing up the way I grew up in rural Maine, I didn't know how to raise kids in a city. And I had a good friend who moved to my town in 3rd grade. And he was always, he was like traumatized by the move, moving from New York to rural Maine. He never felt like he fit in, you know, ever in his life because of that move.
Wow.
And so I didn't want to move too late where that could happen to them. And I just, like I said, I didn't know how to raise my kids in a city. In rural Maine, you just say, I'm sick of listening to you, go outside and come back in 5 hours. But yeah, you can't do that in the city. And Mackenzie wouldn't have been able to go on 40-mile bike rides.
True.
Yeah. No.
So it was, I knew how to be a dad here based on how by modeling my dad did. But so it made sense to raise my kids here. And a lot of people do that. They'll come here, raise their kids, and then pretty much leave as soon as their kids are gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now that the kids are moved out, would you move to a city?
Probably not.
Okay.
It's just not a good fit.
You're not a city guy.
No. I'm going to do something that people shouldn't see.
Is there a city that you like?
I like visiting lots of cities. I just don't want to live there.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. So Lee wanted a bathroom, and a second bathroom in the house here, and so I put a second bathroom in. Now I'm supposed to get a permit, but I didn't.
Right.
And then around here, nobody cares. But if you're in the city, like, you really couldn't do it without a permit. You know, your downstairs neighbor would, call somebody because you're making too much noise. They'd come over and check your permit, find out you didn't have a permit. You're doing electrical work? Like, are you an electrician? Fuck no, I read a book. So there's a lot of freedom when you're living in a rural state.
Yeah.
And that also, I'm just not, like, I've had so much freedom for so long.
Yeah.
It's hard to put myself back in that box.
Yeah.
So it's hard I couldn't imagine living in an apartment, hearing everybody, in the apartment to the left, the right, above and below. So just, I don't know.
Is there a city that you felt like, I could maybe live here?
Back in the day?
Or recently? Like Michigan?
Roland really liked Buffalo. It was
That's
okay.
interesting.
Buffalo?
We
I've
drove
never
through there
been.
on the way to Michigan, and you could just see he was enamored with it, which was fun.
Wow.
That's cool.
Until he looked up, like, the crime stats.
Yeah.
It's apparently very dangerous. I can't think of one, but I just haven't. It hasn't been on anything I've considered for a long time. So.
Yeah.
Have you been to New Orleans?
I have not.
We should go.
I should. My father worked there for quite some time and had wonderful stories of it, but I didn't go. My older brother got to go work with him,
Okay.
but I didn't.
New Orleans is great.
Yeah.
Like, we've both been kind of on the lookout for, like, cities we could maybe move to, because I'm also similar to you in that I don't really enjoy living in cities.
Right.
I feel claustrophobic, and
Same.
it's hard to make friends, blah, blah, blah. But New Orleans was like a city where I thought I could move to.
Yeah.
And it's not too expensive, which is the big part. Because most cities now are too expensive to live in.
Wildly expensive.
Yeah. But in New Orleans, it was like $900 for one bedroom.
Oh, geez, I don't think you can get that in Maine.
Exactly. Really? Oh, yeah, true.
I think it's about the same.
Really?
It's
Whoa.
grossly
Even in
expensive.
Bangor?
I think it's about like $900 for a studio apartment.
Wow.
So
Yeah, and they have like artist housing and stuff.
Yeah.
So, which is, I think, maybe even cheaper. So,
Nice.
it's really good there, and the food is amazing.
I've heard that.
It's very, very good.
Actually, my favorite coffee, it comes from New Orleans.
Really?
Yeah.
From where?
I think it's Cafe Du Monde.
Oh. Yeah, we
Oh.
went there.
Yeah,
Did you?
we went to Cafe Du Monde.
Yeah, it
It
comes
was
in a
so
yellow
good.
can, has chicory in it. It's amazing.
Yum.
Okay. Do you just order that online? Or do they sell
Oddly
it
enough,
somewhere?
they sell it at the Asian market in Portland where we go to
Oh, that's interesting.
get stuff.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa. Well, can we do another quick check to make sure everything's
Okay.
going?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll wrap up.
How do you feel? Was this weird?
Started being a little weird. I mean, not it started being weird. That makes it sound like it's gotten
Yeah.
weird. No, at the start, it
Uh-huh.
was weird because I didn't know
Yeah. The vibe.
the vibe or if we're going to have a topic or
Yep.
who was going to say what or would
We had
would it be
nothing
interesting?
prepared. Well, I wanted to ask you about Maine.
Yeah.
But that was about it.
I wanted to
What?
ask you about stealing signs.
Okay.
The question that I had thought, the one question
Yeah.
was, what was the biggest surprise of your life?
The biggest surprise of my life.
I don't know. It was just a big, something you weren't expecting, and then it ended up,
The day I met my wife, I was not expecting to meet my wife.
Uh-huh.
And that was, I remember when I met her,
Mm-hmm.
I walked out of the room she was in and I thought, I want to marry a girl just like her.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew I wanted to marry somebody just like her.
Mm.
Based
And
on
then-
what? Like looks?
I don't
Vibes?
know. I don't know. It just
Yeah.
the moment I saw her, I was like, I want to marry somebody just like her.
Wow.
Wow.
And I only said just like her because the thought of getting married, I think I was 20, was too much.
Mm-hmm.
But then over the next few months, I realized I probably wasn't going to meet anybody just like her. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
so I married her,
Wow.
and it's been wonderful ever since.
That's
That is
a
a
great
big
answer.
surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's the first thing I thought of.
Well, yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about being a father?
My favorite thing about being a father is I've just learned recently
Okay.
So normally when something good happens to somebody, you're happy for them that something good happened to them, but there's kind of like a tinge of jealousy. Like, I wish that happened to me. Or maybe you cut them down a little bit, like, oh, Orono's kind of a dink. I can't believe something so nice happened to her when she acts like that. And so Mackenzie, after he graduated college, went on I think it was a 2-month motorcycle trip all over the country. And I wanted to do that since I was, 16, and I never had the money to do it or the time to do it. And so normally if somebody got to do that, I would feel happy for them, but also kind of jealous, and all the things I just described. And that didn't happen. I actually felt more joy that he got to do it than if I could do it. And so once that happened, I started to kind of experience that in more ways, where just the amount of, I never thought watching somebody else succeed would bring me so much joy. And so there's a depth of emotion and feeling that I don't think I ever could have achieved before.
That's cool.
So
Did you write that
Wow.
down anywhere?
no, I just tell everybody.
That's cool.
But you probably what they're actually hearing is me going, "Kids are great, have kids."
I didn't hear that.
No,
Yeah, no. But that's cool.
I know I've said that too, but not to you, but other people.
Yeah.
What was your biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise, maybe my parents getting divorced, something like that.
That's a
And I'm
shitty
like,
surprise.
What? Why?
How old were you?
7
Oh, man.
or 6. I was like asking my dad. I was like, "But you're gonna come back for my 7th birthday party, right?" And he was like, "I don't know.
And you didn't, right?
I don't remember."
You blocked it out.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's horrible.
I
Yeah.
know, but I'm sure I got some good surprise. It was a big surprise when I met Orono.
Yeah.
I was like, "What?"
I think I was
Crazy.
23 when my parents got divorced, and like ruined my whole year.
Oh, really?
I couldn't imagine being 7.
I mean, there's so many. I like to be 2 and have. Well, I guess I don't know. 7 that's a tough age.
Oh,
My
yeah.
brother was 5. That'd be a tough one. But I guess it depends on the divorce. I mean, there's so many different things.
Now, did you meet Orono online first?
Yeah, online. It was kind
You
of
were just chatting with strangers?
I mean, I've done that since I was like 12.
Yeah.
Where were
Actually,
you?
younger.
Where were you at the time?
Thailand.
Thailand.
Yeah, I was in Thailand in a hotel room.
Did you see her band and decided to reach out to her?
I was just a big fan, and
Of the band?
Of the band.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't. I just liked the music, and I was following her Twitter because I thought it was funny, and then she tweeted out something. I tweeted back. She thought it was funny, and then she followed me, and then I messaged her. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then we met up in Vancouver.
I've never sent a tweet, so I don't know how this works. Like I have to email people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Twitter person, but now
It's
it's
kind of
X.
like
Yeah.
email, but like to the entire world.
Oh, I just mean, without an email address, you can't find anybody.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the thought of just like, randomly talking to a famous person or somebody in a band seems like alien to me. But
I mean, it was
Yeah.
pretty unusual
yeah,
for me.
were you surprised when she responded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was excited. To be.
No, you were taking a shit.
I was. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I bet it made his day.
I was
But he
taking
was
a
smiling
shit.
all day that a famous person responded to his tweet.
Yeah, that was the best shit I ever took.
And my story's way better.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, no. So that was that.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good surprise. Good and the bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What was your biggest surprise? It's a tough one.
My life is so full of surprises, I feel like.
Yeah. But I guess if you live a life where you're open to those surprises,
I'm so open
Yeah.
to surprises.
I have to say that's one of the things I like most about you
Really?
is
Me too.
I've been trying to do more things that I want to do. So that's why I swim every night because I want to go swimming, and there have been weeks I've come here and worked all day and realized I never got in the water or never enjoyed myself. So just taking it's like 15 minutes to myself to do something fun. And for years I just wouldn't. I'd say, I could go swimming. Oh no, it's late. It's whatever. You just always. It's for some reason people find excuses not to do the things they want to do. So going back to our sign sealing, when I'm like, okay, we're gonna go out and do something, wear dark clothes. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, did she just say okay? I thought I'd have to like convince her or something. And then, I just reverted back to when I was 16 and stealing signs. So when a car comes by, I'm like, quick, roll under the bush. And she'd roll under the bush. I'm like, she's just doing it. Like she's
Yeah.
just in the moment.
Yeah.
And so many people aren't. And and everybody in their 40s kind of realizes like, if you don't make the moment happen, the moment just never happens. So you always seem to be accepting like, this is one of those moments. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that
So-
is my life.
Whereas everybody else is like, oh shit, that looks like a moment. I don't know. I got to check my itinerary and get back to
Well,
you.
we did kind of one of those like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
My dad texts me
Oh yeah.
and he's like, I want you to do one thing for me. He was like, are you still in Bangor? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, can you do this one thing? And he sends me this long text. He's like, can you go meet this man called James Linehan? and
I feel like I've
gives
heard
me
that
his
name.
address, and he's like, he used to be my art teacher at Maine, and I want you to go say hi to him.
Yeah.
That's all. And he said, "This is your assignment.
Yeah.
Please
You
do
said
it."
assignment.
He said
used that
assignment.
in English, right?
He said, "Say hi" in English and assignment in English.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that's such a pain in the ass, and this is so weird. Like, I don't know this man. Like,
Yeah.
this is crazy. We're just gonna go to his house, be like, do you know my dad? But we go to this house.
Yeah.
We do it, and there's like a big spider web in front of like the front door. So we're like, no, it looks like no one lives here. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? And then he just like comes out of the door.
We didn't even knock.
No,
He
we were just
comes
standing
out.
there awkwardly, and we're like, this is weird, but
Your dad must have told him you were coming, right?
No.
No.
This is a
no,
big
because my
surprise to
dad's
him.
kind of like me, and
I
that
love
he's
it.
like spontaneous and random.
Yeah.
So I was just like, do you remember Tom Noguchi? He's like, yeah, of course I do. Are you Orono?
I love it.
And I was like, yup. And he's like, come on in. And we just hung out for like an
Yeah.
hour or two.
Yeah.
And it was,
He showed us his
So
studio, his paintings, and
I try to do that stuff to my kids, and I know they're like, oh my god, this is such a pain in the ass. But yeah, like,
But it's kinda cool.
You're not going to send them to somewhere that they're not going to be thrilled
Yeah.
to see them. So I have some friends coming over tomorrow, and I've asked Roland to come visit just so that they
Oh,
can
yeah.
see him, and because I think they haven't seen him in almost 10 years. So.
wow. Okay. That'd
But-
be fun.
I'm sure for him it's kind of a pain in the ass, but everybody's going to love him.
Yeah.
So.
yeah. Well, would we like to wrap up?
I think so.
All right.
Probably out of juice almost.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for being on this podcast with
Yeah.
us.
It was my pleasure. I've
Yeah.
never been on a
Thank
podcast before.
Well, thanks for taking your first dip with us.
Excellent.
And I think we'll go swim after this or
Yeah.
something.
Sounds good to me.
All
That's
right.
what the lake's
All
for.
right. Well, are we going to do liking, commenting, and all that?
Please
guess
like,
it-
comment, and subscribe. That really makes
Wow.
a difference.
Yeah,
Yep,
please
yep,
do all
yep.
the stuff.
Yep.
And
Great. You made it easy for us. We don't have to
yeah,
do it.
thanks. we hate
Always
that part.
awkward at this part.
But okay.
Everybody knows if you like them, you got to do the things so that it counts.
Yes.
If you're watching, you want it to count, right? You like these guys, make it count.
He knows.
Like
He's on
and
YouTube.
subscribe.
He knows.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow,
Now.
that was a pro move.
That was so
move.
pro. That was,
Okay.
All right. All right. Have a good day. See
all
ya.
right, bye.
Bye-bye.